Sanjay ji, namaste, and thank you very much for speaking with us here at CNN News 18. My first question to you, sir, are you and your officials, your entire team, are they safe? Are things better than before?
Things are better than before, what it used to be a couple of months back. And that is how we demonstrated that feeling by restoring some more visa services. We are also organizing consular camps. There are protests, but nevertheless, we are secure.
Sir, today is a festive day, Dev Deepavali, Kartik Purnima, and also Gurpurab. We are getting reports that there are certain protests that are still being organized outside, say, the Hindu temple in Sari, the Lakshmi Narayan temple. Are you aware of what has happened there?
Yeah, it was not related to any religious festivity. We were doing a consular camp at the mandir, and some of the anti-India elements, largely the Khalistani elements, they did protest, shouted slogans against India, shouted slogans against Indian diplomats in Canada. But luckily and thankfully, the local law and order authorities took cognizance of that, and they kept those hooligans on the other side of the street. And of course, there were pro-Indian Indo-Canadians as well, who took pro-India sloganeering against those hooligans who were shouting anti-India slogans.
But, sir, this continues. So has this been raised with the Canadian counterparts, or is this something that one will have to live with under this entire freedom of expression, ambit?
This is repeatedly raised with the Canadian authorities and my interlocutors, as well as in New Delhi with the Canadian High Commission. We find that there is a better understanding of our concerns, but our core concerns are yet to be fully addressed, and we will keep sensitizing our interlocutors to address our core concern, which is not to allow Canadian citizens to use Canadian soil against Indian sovereignty and territorial integrity.
So one of the flashpoints, or perhaps the issue that was raised by the Canadian Prime Minister, the issue of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, has there been any progress since the last time we spoke on that matter?
I believe that the investigation is on. Generally, during the investigation, the contents will not be shared. So I'm not aware at what stage the investigation is there. But I'm sure once they conclude the investigation, they will come on board and let us know the conclusion. And if they need any help from us on the basis of some specific or relevant information which could be shared with us, we'll always look into that.
Yeah, has this matter reached the courts, the Canadian courts? Because the excuse given by the Canadian polity, that is the ruling government, is that the courts will decide. But some reports suggest that not even a charge sheet has been filed. So could you throw some light on that?
No, not that we know of. As per our information, the investigation continues. And in the Canadian legal system, unless the investigation has concluded, it will not go to prosecutor and therefore the court of law.
So one of the other concerns is an American citizen who's been designated a terrorist by Bharat, who's trying to do certain activities on Canadian soil. Have you taken cognizance of his activities? Because he has named officials and shown your photographs, and also trying to threaten people from flying our airline, that is Air India.
His hateful speech, his incitement to violence, all such incidents have been shared with the Canadian interlocutors, and they have assured us that they are looking into it.
The operation of gangsters who have operations both in Bharat and on Canadian soil, once again it's come to light with singer Gippy Grewal claiming that he was threatened, his house was fired upon, and one associate of Lawrence Bishnoi, Rohit Kodara, has actually openly spoken to News 18 and taken responsibility for the same. Is this a concern, sir? Is this a serious concern? This Goldie Barar, Lawrence Bishnoi gang using Canadian soil also?
See, I'll not talk about the gang war and gangsters because I'm not privy to what they do. But one thing is for sure, that if someone commits a heinous crime, either the law or the criminals will follow them.
Because if I may ask you, is there information sharing with the Canadian authorities about these gangsters, their whereabouts, and is there any help in trying to locate these elements because they are wanted in Bharat?
To your question, yes, there are mechanisms and platforms which exist through which we share information regarding such issues that you mentioned. And they are largely between the governments and whatever could be done on the basis of the information shared, I'm sure is being done.
Are you looking at a possibility that, given the heat on them because they tried to threaten Indian officials on Canadian soil, are they now trying to target perhaps the diaspora, the Canadian Hindu population or Indians in Canada? Do you have a concern that this could perhaps escalate?
The Pro-Khalistani elements in Canada, either hardcore or those who have been leveraged to or threatened to follow their dictum, have been threatening the Indian diaspora in Canada for some time now. They have been vandalizing temples. They have been shouting slurs against part of the Indian community. But let me assure you that 99% or more than 99% of the Indian diaspora here are united, are pro-India Canada, are pro-India.
My final question, sir, is there perhaps some more positive response from the Canadian authorities and do we see things going back to normal somewhere? Or are matters still stuck because of the concerns raised around Hardeep Nijjar's murder?
No, we have positive movements. We have more conversation and not less. And as India has always talked about, that dialogue and diplomacy are the only ways to get out of any international doldrums. And in this difficult situation, diplomacy and dialogue both are playing their roles. And given that the two countries have always been friends and will remain friends for time immemorial, the only way that I can foresee will be a positive movement, a move towards north after this sordid saga which we are facing.
Finally, sorry, I'm squeezing this in, but would you like to see some more action against these key elements, especially those who are threatening officials and impede the functioning of the consulate there?
Of course, they are not only threatening us; they are threatening those Canadian citizens who practice different faith. They are threatening those Indo-Canadians who just belong to a certain religion. So certainly, these should constitute crime, and the action should be taken against those who are trying to disturb, those who are trying to create an imbalance in the Indo-Canadian relations.
So thank you so much for your time, and thank you for speaking with us. And we wish you not just greetings on the festive season to you and the entire team there, but also pray for your safety and well-being. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and greetings to your viewers on Guru Parv and Kartik Purnima. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.